and welcome back to Reads as we continue with Changes for Kaya, Chapter 4, Gifts. As the hunting party rode out of the mountains to join the rest of the band in Salmon River country, the skies turned gray with heavy clouds. Soon the first autumn rains began to fall. After the long, drawing season of fires, the rain was a blessing. Kaya pulled her deerskin robe over her hat, but she lifted her face in the rain. It would turn to snow, but now it bathed her cheeks and her forehead with a soft, light touch. The rain dipped from the branches she rode under, raising sweet scents of pine and fir. Drops of it beaded in Stepside's mane and on her foal's eyelashes. Kaya stroked her horse's warm, wet neck and smiled to see the foal, which she named Sparks Flying, splashing through the shallow stream. Even in the rain, the woods around Kaya were filled with color. She saw aspen trunks washed to pure white and the large needles shining yellow. Ferns had dried to a dark orange. Rose bushes were red leaf, and gilded mosses hummed from the boughs. A snake slithered across the trail with a green gleam. Blackbirds flocked together for their flight south. Red-sided trout leaped from the stream after the insects, and on the opposite shore, Kaya saw a brown bear gorging itself on fish. Now deer and elk were coming to the lower country to forage. As she rode across a clearing, Kaya saw a bull elk running through the scrub brush. His legs high and tilted back his head so that his huge antlers could slip through the branches as he laced like a scout bringing a message. Kaya's heart swelled. She felt how strongly she loved her beautiful homeland and all the creatures that shared it with Nimipu. When the hunting party reached the wintering place, Tatlo burst from the village dog pack, came running to meet Kaya. Bounding alongside Steps High, he barked repeatedly, as if to say, "You're back! You're back!" And when Kaya dismounted, he licked her cheek over and over again with his warm, rough tongue. Kaya turned on Steps High and Sparks Flying with the other horses. Then, with Tatlo at her side, she ran to find Speaking Rain. She had so much to tell her sister. Kaya found Speaking Rain in the snug winter lodge, twining cord from the shredded hemp. Kaya went to her knees in front of her and placed her hand on Speaking Rain's arm. "Tots may we, little sister," Kaya breathed. "I'm here again." "Tots may we." Speaking Rain gently touched Kaya's fingers. "Is that pine pitch I smell on your hands? Did you get hurt?" "My hands and arms got burned by falling embers, but I treated the burns with medicine that my namesake taught me to make," Kaya said. "You're right to be troubled about fires." Speaking Rain drew in a sharp breath. "What happened?" Speaking Rain sat close to her sister's side. Kaya told her how she finds Steps High the road stallions herd and about their escape from the fire. "When we got back to the hunting camp, everyone thought we were ghosts, covered in black smoke. Before we left that country, Tota and some other men rounded up the other Nimipu horses," Kaya finished. "And now you're back to safety." Speaking Rain had been listening intently, as though she could feel and hear and even see everything Kaya described. "Whistles. Your horse came to you because she recognized your whistle. Then the stick people saved your lives with a whistle." Kaya read, "We left the stick people a big gift of kinnick." Speaking Rain clasped Kaya's shoulder. "Tell me about Brown Deer and Cut Cheek. Did he hunt well?" "Cut Cheek's a strong hunter," Kaya said excitedly. "Our parents agreed that he and Brown Deer should marry. Easta's going to visit Cut Cheek's mother soon to plan the wedding trade. We'll have the marriage feast and gift exchange before the snow gets deep. But come with me now. Don't you want to stroke Steps Highs again? I know you love her too, and you have to meet her foal. They're the most wonderful horses ever. When the time came for the wedding ceremony, the frozen ground was covered with lightly fallen snow. Brown Deer and the other women put up a lodge for the celebration, then began to cook for the wedding feast. Soon the air smelled deliciously of roasting meats, coos and camas, cakes, and berry dishes. Kaya's mouth watered as she helped carry her gifts her family had made to the new lodge. Here's the last of the bundles, granddaughter, Kaya said. She placed a large bag filled with dry roots into Kaya's outstretched arms, put another under her own arm, and picked up a torch. As she walked ahead, she left the shelf footprints in the dusting of the snow. Kaya's skin prickled with anticipation as she followed her grandmother inside the empty lodge. Now it was cold and silent here, but when everyone gathered today, it would be happy and filled with talk and laughter. They'd feast until they couldn't eat anymore. Then Brown Deer's family would give woven bags filled with dry berries, roots, and camas to the groom's family. Food the women had gathered and prepared. Matching them gift for gift, Cut Cheek's family would give them parred fleeces filled with dried meat to the bride's people, foods contributed by the men. Cayusta stacked the woven bags on top of the large pile of gifts already resting on the tool mats. There, that's everything, she said with satisfaction. Now we're ready. Let me light one of these fires to warm up the place a little. I want to stay here for a while, don't you? We've been so busy lately, we haven't had time to talk. As Cayusta knelt to light the fire, Kaya gazed up at her grandmother's kind face. Her black hair was streaked with gray, and her forehead and cheeks were deeply creased. Fireflight glittered in her dark eyes. Have I ever told you about the time I got lost on the mountainside? Truly, completely lost, she asked Kaya. Kaya smiled. She loved her grandmother's stories. When was that, Kaya? As you might imagine, it was when I was a little girl, about the age of the twins. Cayusta sat back on her heels as the fire began to crackle and held out her hands to the warmth. I was walking back from picking berries with my mother when she discovered her work bag was missing. She was upset and wanted to go back and look for it, but she didn't want to carry the heavy berry baskets, so she told me to put them down on the trail and told me to sit by them. She made me promise to wait patiently for her not to move, not even a little bit. She said she wouldn't be long, and she started to back up the trail. I sat there for what seemed a long time. I was hot and thirsty and bored. The mosquito bit me, and deer flies buzzed around my head. After a while, I got up and started poking around the bushes, looking for something to do. I walked a little way to the underbrush, and then a little farther, and a little farther yet. All of a sudden, I realized I didn't know where I was. I tried to get back to the trail, but I couldn't find it. I was lost. Then I forgot everything I'd been told to do if I got lost. Instead of staying where I was and waiting to be found, I started to run. I ran downhill, thorns tearing at my dress, twigs scratching at my arm and face. There was no trails there, no sign that anyone had passed that way. I thought I would never see my family again, so I started to cry, Tota, Ista, help me, help me. So I called until I couldn't run any farther. Then I curled up under a brush and I sobbed till I fell asleep. That's where I was, asleep when my older brother found me. He was hunting higher on the mountain when he heard my cries. He knew that sound travels upward, so he rode down, following my sobs. He took me to our camp. I was overjoyed to see my mother again. She put willow bark on all my cuts and insect bites. She washed my face and fed me. Then she called Whip Woman to teach me a lesson. Cayusta laughed, and Kai laughed with her. Cayusta put her hands on Kaya's. I told you that story for a reason. What lesson do you think my mother wanted me to learn? Not to disobey her, Kaya answered confidently. That's one lesson, Cayusta went on. But there's another one. She wanted me to learn to be patient, to wait, and to trust the wisdom of the others. That's a very difficult thing to do, but it takes great strength to wait patiently. She thought for a moment, then went on. Granddaughter, you've already faced many tests of bravery. Your next test will be one of patience and trusting the wisdom of our elders. Kaya frowned. What do you mean, Cayusta? I'm speaking of your vision quest, granddaughter. The vigil you must keep at a sacred place on the mountain, Cayusta said. If your spirit is clear and you're prepared, and if you can hold on and not run away, then your wild can come to you there. But before that happens, you'll be hungry and thirsty and exhausted by fasting and praying day and night. Are you afraid? Kaya clasped her elbows, asking herself, am I afraid? She had certainly been afraid when enemies captured her. She had been afraid when she escaped and found her way home. She had been frightened to think she had lost her sister and her horse, and she had been terrified when she was chased by the forest fire. But now what she felt wasn't fear, it was determination. I'm not afraid, Cayusta, she said in a firm voice. I'm ready to meet whatever comes. Why, that's exactly what your namesake would have said, Cayusta exclaimed. You're more like her than you may know. Soon, I believe, you'll use her name. It'll be good for her name to come alive again. Kaya's chest felt warm with gratitude when she thought again of Swan circling Skip. Kaya wanted so much to take the name of her hero. Now her grandmother felt that the time was almost there. From across the village, criers began calling out, Visitors are coming, getting ready to meet them. Saddle up your horse and go greet Cut Cheek's people, Cayusta said, getting to her feet. I'll light these other fires and make the lodge warm for our feast. Go now, be quick, we've talked soon enough. Kaya ran to get the beautiful saddle she'd received at the giveaway after Swan Circling's burial. Then she hurried into her horse herd nearby. Tatlo bounded along with her, snapping at snowflakes and tossing up falling snow with his nose. Steps High was pawing through the ice for glass with the other horses. When she heard Kaya's whistle, she trotted to her side, snoring white plumes of breath. Kaya thought her horse seemed almost excited as her frisky dog. Kaya pressed her cheek to Steps High's muzzle and stroked her horse's chest, feeling a strong, loyal heart beating there. In response, Steps High arched her neck and nudged Kaya's shoulder. As Kaya cinched the saddle tightly, sparks flying crowd against his mother, head high and ears forward as she were eager to welcome visitors too. Kaya swung up into the saddle and settled her feet in the stirrups. Come on, girl, she said to her horse, and then slapped her right leg to signal Tatlo to stay by her side. Urging Steps High into a run, Kaya galloped out to meet the visitors on their horses appearing over the horizon. And that is the end of all the Kaya stories, so thanks for listening for that. Goodbye.